Good afternoon, everybody. It's Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. Now, we are here to bring you live coverage of the India-Pakistan conflict, but I did want to get you at any moment now. We're expecting to see some smoke coming out of that chimney there in Vatican City, where the cardinals are voting on who the new pope will be. It is likely we will see black smoke. It is likely that in the first vote they won't decide on a pope, but I do want to have that on the screen because it's supposed to happen at any moment. And so we're going to be talking, sorry for the confusion, we are covering India and Pakistan. That is the topic of this stream. But I did again want to bring you that live view there. And I think I can actually get you a better shot of that if you give me 2 seconds. Yes, the first vote is tonight, and again, it is expected that very shortly we will know the results of the first vote. So I'm going to keep that up on the screen for a few minutes, and maybe we'll just be able to see right when it happens. And the other thing I want to do real quick, though, is... which one are you looking at there? You're looking at that one? There's two of them. I'm trying to figure out which. Oh, you're seeing that one. So if I change this one up here. Okay, I'm going to give you a better shot of it. Ready? Hold on. So we can talk about India and Pakistan and then have that on the background. Because again, I'm expecting it very soon. Right here, maybe? How about this one? That's better. That's the chimney right there. That is a close-up on the chimney, a live shot of the chimney. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we're going to be talking about India and Pakistan. And if I have any video from India and Pakistan to put up, I will put it up on the screen for you. I don't have any, there's no live video that I have right now from India and Pakistan. I will certainly put that up on the screen if I have it, but I don't have any live video from there. So we are going to, one of our viewers said, will this calm down or escalate between India and Pakistan? I don't know. Pakistan sounds like maybe they're going to carry out some sort of further retaliation for the Indian attack. So we're gonna talk about that. So again, I just have this on the screen because really, we're supposed to very soon see the result of the first vote on the Pope, which is the only vote they're taking tonight. And once we see that, we'll get rid of the video. But it's going on right now, so I figured we'd have it up on the screen. And but let's get into talking. I'll leave that up there, and we'll focus on Pakistan and India and talk about that. And again, if I do get some sort of video from Pakistan or India, of course I will put that up on the screen. I just don't have that right now. Let's see here. By the way, the time there is 8:22 p.m. Okay, and just so people know, this is the last I'll say about this until something happens. But with that chimney there, if black smoke comes out, that means that the vote happened and they have not chosen a pope. If white smoke comes out, that means the vote happened and they did choose a pope. It is widely expected that you will see black smoke in the first vote. Okay. All right. Now, let's get into the updates about Pakistan and India. Oh, and you know what I can do? I can do this. I figured out something else I can do, a way I can do this. Hold on a moment here. What I'll do is, I know what we'll do. Hold on. There's another way I'm going to do this too. What I'll do is, let me show you some stuff. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to show you an update on India and Pakistan. We can have both things on the screen. Let's do that. Let's do that. Oopsie. Pakistan says it will retaliate. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do this. What I need to do is put this, if I want to get both things on the screen for you, I want to get both things on the screen. So I'm going to get this here. Then I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to put this in the corner here. Ooh, okay. See how we're doing this now? See how we're doing that? So we have the chimney on the screen, but we have the story for you about India and Pakistan. That's better. Let's do it that way. Okay, so now you can see both. Pakistan says it will retaliate. All right, so let's talk about this. There's also updates about whether any Indian planes were shot down. Pakistan said it shot down 5 Indian fighter jets. So we're going to get you some updates on that. And let me just also thank our moderators. I don't know why a couple people said there was an issue with the stream or they can't see the stream. I mean, I'm literally watching my own stream on YouTube. I'm literally watching it. So yes, there is a live stream. So maybe try refreshing if you're not seeing it, because I'm literally watching myself on YouTube right now. But let me thank our moderators here before we get started. We have moderating right now over there on over there on YouTube, Rusty G. Good to see you, Rusty G. Also, Ruth Krafasi and Beth Mythical, thank you so much for moderating over there on YouTube. And by the way, if I'm looking at something else and the smoke comes out of the chimney, just yell at me in the chat. Also, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha over on X, thanks for moderating there. On Twitch, we have, oops, hold on a moment here. Here is, we have Big Ball of Yarn, Hearsay, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, and Surly Dev. And let me come back to me for 1 second here. Thanks so much to our moderators. And we have, hold on, oops. Kay Lowry Body, Christina Neal over on Facebook, Margaret Riley, thank you. Thanks so much for modding. And quick thank you to Evelyn V for your support, Doug Cahill, Gabriel Morrow. Gabriel, you see, you asked about the chimney, and I had it up there. Thank you, Gabriel. Punished Foxo, Dennis St. Amour, PZ Papa Zulu, and Mitchell Pilot. Thank you so much for your support for the channel. I really appreciate it. Okay, now let's get into this. So, and the last thing I need to do, I'm sorry. I just remembered the last thing I need to do is to put something up so people know that Vatican City shot there, so people know what we're looking at. So if I put this on the screen here, see this? I need to put live Vatican City up over like here. There you go. I'll put that right there. I don't want to cover the chimney, though. I don't want to cover the smoke. So we'll put it right there for you. And again, at any moment, we're expecting there's one vote tonight on the Pope. As I understand it, there'll be one vote. That's what I was understanding. But I'll let you know if I hear any different. But one vote tonight expected on choosing a new Pope. And any moment now, we're supposed to have smoke coming out of the chimney to tell us what the result of the vote is. Okay, let's get into a little update about what's going on with India. Let's start with this summary here from Reuters. And well, I'll begin by summarizing things. So in case you've been out of the news world for a day or so, early Wednesday morning, India launched a military attack on Pakistan in both Pakistan and Pakistani occupied Kashmir. Kashmir is a disputed territory that both India and Pakistan claim, and they each control part of it. So India, this all started on April 22nd when there was a terror attack on April 22nd in Indian-controlled Kashmir in which over 20 Indian tourists were killed by Islamist militants. And India blamed Pakistan for supporting that attack. And Pakistan denied responsibility, but India blamed Pakistan. And so India launched an attack early morning, Wednesday morning, on Pakistan, which included strikes on Pakistan, on what India said were terrorist targets in Pakistan-controlled Kashmir and in Pakistan proper. After those, they hit a number of different sites, and Pakistan says there are dead and injured civilians from that. And then after that, there was a bunch of fighting in Kashmir between Pakistani and Indian forces. We were watching it for hours, some of that, on our stream yesterday and last night. And both sides say people have gotten killed or injured. And I believe Pakistan has suggested it's going to retaliate further. So very high tensions there between India and Pakistan. And they have fought wars over the decades. They have fought over Kashmir. Kashmir has been a disputed territory since the independence of India and Pakistan for about 80 years. Will the fighting die down or will it escalate? They both have nuclear weapons, India and Pakistan. I hope it de-escalates and doesn't escalate. But we're waiting to see how things develop. That's a very short non-expert summary. I'm not an expert on this region. And again, if I get some sort of live shot from India and Pakistan, I'll certainly show you. But I do not have one right now. We had one for a bunch of yesterday. Okay, so let's just go over some of the basics here, and then I'll take some comments and give you some updates. You can see here Reuters reports. I should look at the pictures too. Reuters reports India hit Pakistan and Pakistani Kashmir with missiles on Wednesday, and Pakistan says it has shot down 5 Indian aircraft and vowed to retaliate in the worst clash in more than 2 decades between the nuclear-armed neighbors. Pakistan says it has shot down 5 Indian fighter jets. India has not officially said that any jets have been shot down. There have been various reports from various outlets which say that they're hearing that planes have been shot down. I saw one report today, which I reposted from Jim Sciutto of CNN, Jim Sciutto of CNN said a high-ranking French intelligence official told CNN that one French Rafale fighter jet operated by the Indian Air Force was downed by Pakistan. That would be the first time one of the sophisticated French-made warplanes has been lost in combat. The French official told CNN that French authorities are looking into whether more than one Rafale jet was shot down by Pakistan overnight. So that's an example of one report saying at least one plane was shot down. But again, I can't confirm that myself. How is let's see if I'm pronouncing that right. According to Wikipedia, the pronunciation is hold on. Oh, maybe not E, maybe just Al. Rafale, maybe? That's what it's supposed to be? I think it's Rafale, not Rafale. Rafale. Rafale, people are saying. Okay. By the way, here is what a Rafale looks like. Just show you this. That's from Wikipedia. See the picture right there? That is from Tim Fels, Airwolf Hound on Wikipedia. Oops. India told more than a dozen foreign envoys in New Delhi that if Pakistan responds, India will respond, fueling fears of a larger military conflict in one of the world's most dangerous and most populated nuclear flashpoint regions. The escalation comes at a fragile moment for Pakistan's $350 billion economy, which recently emerged from a crisis with the government trying to shore up finances and make progress on the $7 billion International Monetary Fund loan program of 2024. India said when it launched the attack, after the attack, India said it had struck 9 terrorist infrastructure sites, some of them linked to an attack by Islamist militants that killed 25 Hindu tourists and 1 local in Indian Kashmir last month. Pakistan said at least 26 of its civilians had been killed, and India had ignited an inferno in the region. And Pakistan pledged to respond at a time, place, and manner of its choosing to avenge the loss of innocent Pakistani lives and blatant violation of its sovereignty, emphatically rejecting Indian allegations that it had terrorist camps on its territory. So after the Indian attack, there was fighting in Kashmir, and when we were watching for hours, what certainly appeared to be, we were watching a live stream from India-controlled Kashmir, and it certainly seemed to show lots of artillery being fired into India-controlled Kashmir by Pakistani forces. And there's a bunch of reporting saying there was fighting in Kashmir between India and Pakistan. And there was this question of like, was that the Pakistani response? It appears it was not, or at least not the whole of it, because as you can see, Pakistan says that it will respond at a time, place, and manner of its choosing. And India says that if Pakistan responds, India will respond. So are we going to see some sort of very visible response attack from Pakistan at some point? Because, I mean, the fighting in Kashmir is not a very most people are not watching a live stream of that, and we don't have some kind of big high profile act from Pakistan yet that they have highlighted and saying like, look, this is our response. So that's a big question right now, is are we going to get a Pakistani quote unquote response soon? And then how will India respond to that? Okay. So we are still looking at the chimney, by the way, in Vatican City, keeping an eye on that. Faz on Chain thinks Pakistan will not respond. Raven Knight thinks Pakistan is planning a retaliation. Jabran Rana thinks the Indian air chief is hiding from French and India media. U6F thinks maybe airstrikes on military sites in India. By the way, thanks so much to Brian Jeffcoat for the gift memberships. That's really kind of you, Brian. Thank you. Also, Tony, thanks for your support, Tony. Very much appreciated. And Christopher Willard. No, I don't have any kind of live stream right now, including from Poonch. The Poonch live stream we had, which was an incredible live stream, that stopped because the camera people actually had to leave for their own safety. So I don't think we're getting that back anytime soon. And I'm not surprised. I mean, it was artillery landing right near the camera site. Thanks to our members Mika Well and Becca's and Witness 2. Also, Tander62 for subscribing. Did I thank Claire Majster4 for subscribing? And thanks John Deeds for your support on Twitch. Jamie says, yes, it was too dangerous. Yeah, that camera, I mean, that camera was bad. We were bound to lose that camera. It's what I think this camera you're looking at in Vatican City, I think it's a live camera. I think it's got a filter on it because it's actually darker there now. But what I can, another thing I can do, I'm going to do something else real quick. I'm going to take, if you give me a second here, there's that one. No, that's the right one. That camera's live. What they've done on that camera is they've put some sort of filter on it, I think, to make it look brighter. Because there's another camera I'm looking at and it's darker, but eventually it'll get too dark. I don't even know if they have a spotlight on that camera. It might get too dark to see it. Not on this one, but if you don't have a filter, it might get too dark to see. What I can do though is I can throw the other one up. Hold on. What I'll do is, just out of interest, I'll take this one and I'll put it also in the corner. Hold on, that's not what I wanted to do. This. Yeah, let me make that small. We'll just put that. We have two cameras for you. How's that? We'll put a second camera up. Why not? Why not put that there? Now you can have two to look at. Justin D thinks the live feed showed Pakistan shelling civilian targets. I couldn't tell exactly what was being hit. It certainly looked like a densely populated, at least in part, residential area that was where in Poonch where there was artillery coming down. But I can't tell you the specifics on what was hit and what was being targeted. All right, hang on one moment here. I also want to keep checking for breaking updates. So let me do that, and then we'll take some more comments and give you some more updates here. But I got to get on my screen so I can see it. A couple of things here. The other thing I want to mention is that the time in India right now is 12:13 a.m. So, tonight, will there be some kind of Pakistani strike response tonight? That I can't tell you. So I just saw a report from one journalist I follow from the area who specializes in Pakistan's coverage. His name is Wajahat Kazmi. He posted about 20 minutes ago saying that he's hearing that at the border in Kashmir, the line of control, he says it's pretty much normal there at the moment, with no clashes. Now, I don't know that for sure, but that's what he's saying. Again, I can't tell. I'm not there, and I don't have a camera on it. Also, I'm seeing an update that from Asad Hashim of AFP says Pakistan's military says the death toll from the India attacks rises to 31. Yeah, the Pakistani military said 31 civilians were killed and 57 wounded in the India attacks. I cannot confirm those numbers. That's what Pakistan is saying. Another question to keep in mind is India's strikes over? I mean, India launched this attack in the early Wednesday morning, but is that it? Or do they have any kind of other strikes planned on what they would call terrorist targets? I also don't know that. So, again, it's 12:15 a.m. India time right now. Now, I also saw this. Sidhant Seaball posted something. This is an interesting report that FJ, who I follow, reposted. Is Sidhant Seaball on one of my lists? I think he might be. Let me make sure. I thought maybe he was. Hold on a moment. Yes, so Sidhant Seaball, who is a journalist in India, he says that people on the ground are confirming witnessing flashes in the sky near border areas as the line of control is heating up. He posted that about 20 minutes ago. So those are two sort of different accounts about what's going on at the line of control in Kashmir right now. The border between the Pakistani and Indian forces. So I'll keep checking on updates. Then Aditya Raj Kaul, who is a prominent Indian journalist, he posted 10 minutes ago saying, no confirmation of any attacks or missiles launched anywhere yet. He means recently. Don't believe any rumors. So there's a lot of questions as to whether there's going to be tonight, in the coming hours, any kind of new fighting. We'll have to see. Oh, an update from, well, hold on a second. I don't know if that's true. There is a prominent, I don't know where he's getting his information for. Hold on. I don't even want to post that. If I get anything reliable, that's new. Wajahat Kazmi, who's a prominent reporter in Pakistan. He does a lot of Pakistan. He specializes in Pakistan. He's sometimes in Pakistan. He says there is nothing happening in Sialkot except for Indian propaganda. So again, there's a lot of rumors flying around that something might happen tonight. Sialkot is in Pakistan, in Punjab province, which is close to Kashmir. There's a lot of rumors flying around, but there's nothing reliable saying anything big and new is happening right at the moment. If I hear of that, I will certainly let you know. But we would be, if there was something big going on right now, you'd be hearing more about it. But stuff could change at any time. Hey, thanks to Matt Borgerson. Matt asks about, as somebody from the U.S., the importance to somebody in the U.S. Well, look, I mean, one answer I'll give you is that some people just are interested. For some people, it's just, you know, there's some people who just, if something big is happening somewhere in the world, it's important to them. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be you, but some people, you know, if something is happening affecting, you know, a huge part of the world's population directly, then that's important to them. But aside, so let's put that to the side, though. Let's put that to the side. Suppose that's not you. Well, another huge thing here is that these are two nuclear-armed countries. They're two nuclear-armed countries, remember, no nuclear weapons have been used since the U.S. used them at the end of World War II. It's the only time they've been used in combat, not testing. So, I mean, it's a very dangerous situation. So that's one important aspect of this that you might find significant, even if you don't normally find international events that significant. Also, you know, conflict, major world conflict can have all kinds of ramifications for around the world. On the economy, for example, you know, if major countries get into wars, that can have economic impacts around the world. Other countries can get sucked into conflict. So those would be just off the top of my head. Our viewer Anmol Gupta says global supply chains and air routes get disrupted. Taboo Totem says it affects the stock market. So those are various, I don't want to, it's an interesting question. I don't want to go too far down that road right now, but just a couple of initial thoughts. Okay, let's so I'm keeping an eye on the updates from India and Pakistan tonight. And I sort of would like to get a clock up there, but soon enough we'll do that. Anyways, just to tell you again, the current time in India is 12:23 a.m. Thursday morning in India, 12:23. Let's check out a little more of this. It says here, so as I mentioned, Reuters reports that Pakistan has pledged to respond at a time, place, and manner of its choosing to avenge the loss of innocent Pakistani lives and blatant violation of its sovereignty. India has said that if Pakistan responds, India will respond. The Indian strikes early Wednesday morning included Punjab, Pakistan's most populous province, for the first time since the last full-scale war between the old enemies more than a half-century ago. India's defense minister said, "The targets we had set were destroyed with exactness according to a well-planned strategy. We have shown sensitivity by ensuring that no civilian population was affected in the slightest." India has emphasized publicly that they have shown, they say, restraint and only attacked, they said, terrorist sites and don't want this to escalate. And they tried to make their attack to be non-escalatory, they said. Pakistan said none of the 6 locations targeted in Pakistan were militant camps. I believe Pakistan is now claiming over 30 people have been killed. Innocent civilians, they said, and over 50 injured. Let's see here. In the capital of Pakistani Kashmir, Muzaffarabad, the Indian strikes had badly damaged a mosque seminary in the heart of the city. 5 missiles killed 3 people in the 2-story structure, locals said, which also had residential headquarters. Reuters journalists saw the roof and walls of the concrete building crumbled. I think there's a picture of that in this article. Hindu-majority India and Islamic Pakistan have fought 2 of their 3 wars since independence in 1947. Hindu-majority India and Islamic Pakistan have fought 2 of their 3 wars since independence in 1947 over Muslim-majority Kashmir, which both sides claim in full and each controls in part. Let me show you a picture of, do I have it here? Of the mosque? Yes, this is a picture from right there from Reuters of the damaged mosque. Is that the mosque in Kashmir? It's the damaged mosque, yes, in Muzaffarabad, Kashmir. This article actually has a video with it. Let's see here. Oh, I have some good video. I have some good video of that, of the damage. I'm going to play it for you right now. Let's take a look at this video in this article of that damage to the mosque. I'm going to put it on the screen for you right now. Oop, hold on. Wait, one moment. One moment. All right, here's the video from Reuters. We're going to play this right now. I'm sorry if the sound is only in one ear. Sometimes that happens with these videos.
When we woke up from the sound of the first blast that took place around 12:30 to 12:35, we thought the explosion could be from an electric transformer. After 1.5 minutes, a second blast occurred. I got out of my house and called out my family. My daughter was standing with me in the courtyard of the house. Shrapnel from the third blast hit my daughter. Then we knew it was an attack by India. Then my family and I went to the backyard of the house to take shelter.
It was 12:45 at night. We were sleeping when a drone came. It was right above us, just a little higher than usual. Then 3 more drones appeared. They were chasing, they were attacking the mosque. They hit the mosque directly, destroyed its courtyard, the minister's office in front of the mosque and the roof. Everything was crushed. There was one person sitting on the roof, on duty. He was martyred.
By the way, I wanted to let some people know, as people watching this broadcast, I know you're probably interested in technology. Some breaking news, there's been this incredible new technology invented recently. It's called the volume button, or the volume dial. And what it is, this is incredible. It's a dial on the device you're watching this stream. It's a dial or maybe a couple buttons, and you can actually control the volume, how loud things are. So whereas before this technology was invented, if say a video came on and it was a little too loud, you might want to type in the chat and scream in the chat in capital letters that it's too loud. Now you don't have to do that anymore. With this amazing new technology, the volume dial, you can just control the volume. So it's very exciting. I'm really happy to be able to pass that along, and I'm excited to consume content using that volume dial. Okay. Anyways, that was a video about some witnesses to the attacks, the Indian attacks. Oh, this is a video I think of some of supposed plane damage. Yeah, the debris. I got to, again, Pakistan says that they shot down 5 Indian fighter jets. That's unconfirmed. There have been a bunch of reports in different media outlets suggesting that 1 or more fighter jets were shot down, or at least crashed. I don't believe the Indian government has given a full accounting of that yet. Oh, we have smoke! Smoke! Black smoke! Breaking news! Black smoke! Breaking news, black smoke. Black smoke, look. No Pope yet. No Pope yet. We have black smoke. There is no Pope yet. This is not a surprise. The other shot, hold on. There it is. There you go. The black smoke is coming out. That means they have had their first vote. And as expected, they did not settle on, a Pope needs a two-thirds of the cardinals voting. Well, anyways. So I wanted to show you that. I know it's a different topic than what we were doing. Sorry I didn't have it on the screen. I should have had it on the screen right when I was talking, but I got it to you right after it started happening. And you're seeing the smoke live right now. So For the Pope vote, that I believe that's the only vote they'll do tonight. And then tomorrow they're supposed to do 4 different votes, 2 in the morning and 2 at night. There you go. Black smoke. All right. So there is your Pope vote update. I was about to show you a different video about Pakistan and India. Anyways. All right. So we got you that update. I'm glad that we got you that update. Let me just adjust things here. All right, that we don't need up anymore. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. Let me just post something about that. So, no Pope chosen yet. Black smoke. Oh, is there more smoke coming out? I think there's more smoke coming out. It's still black smoke, just so you know. That's still that's still a live feed right there. Okay, they're putting out more black smoke. It stopped and then it started again. So I just want you to be able to see this. Yeah, this is a live feed. All right, we'll get back to, I just wanted to show you that. We're going to get back to Pakistan and India. By the way, I believe for those who are interested in the Pope vote, my understanding is that as you see the black smoke coming out, my understanding is that the next votes would be in the morning. So, and I think I had read an article saying it would be expected that you'd see the result of the first one around 10:30 a.m. No, 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. 10:30 a.m. Italy time, Vatican City time. So I may end up doing live coverage late night tonight. We'll have to see how that turns out. We'll have to see. I didn't realize the smoke went on for so long. They're burning the ballots. That's what you're seeing. The ballots get burned with certain chemicals. So you're literally looking at the smoke from the burning ballots. Okay. Anyways, we'll watch this for a second longer. These doesn't happen that often. The last papal conclave was in 2013, and then before that, I think it was 2005, and before that, 1978. But that's it. That's the ballots burning. Brandon says 4th or 5th vote is tradition, never first. Yeah, it was widely expected. It would have been really surprising if on the first vote they had chosen a pope. By the way, thank you to Ali P from Canada. I really appreciate that. Excuse me. Also, Casey Promise T, our member, sorry, I owe somebody else a thanks too. Greenlight Courier Service. And Content No Tenshi, thanks for your support. And Enables and Evan Evans and Seemar. Seemar, I haven't seen that report. I'll have to check in on it. Thank you, Seemar. Seemar says there was some report about Pakistani army attending a funeral with terrorists, LET terrorists. I don't know. I'll have to look up and see if I see anything about that. Thank you to CE Photo Art for your support as well. CE Photo Art, thank you. Okay, so the smoke is done, I think. I think the smoke is done. We just watched the smoke from the burning ballots. No black smoke, so they had a vote and they did not choose a pope. Next vote coming up tomorrow, Thursday morning, Italy time. Not Italy. Vatican City is in the middle, is located geographically in Italy, but it's its own state, it's its own country. But Vatican City time, tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Okay, now, so I'm glad we got to bring you that. Yeah, one of our viewers, Arwalt, says all those people watching a smokestack. I heard that St. Peter's Square was full of people. That's what I had read. If I get a live stream, by the way, from Pakistan or India, I'll certainly show it to you. I don't have that right now. Let's see. No, I was going to show you here. Now I'm going to show you the video about the plane wreckage, or the supposed plane wreckage. Let's do that. Metal debris. Hold on. I'm about to show you this video. All right, so meanwhile, we were looking at this. India strikes Pakistan over tourist killings. Pakistan says it will retaliate, from Reuters. And I was going to show you this video right here. As I mentioned, Pakistan says it shot down 5 Indian fighter jets. India has not given a definitive accounting of this, has not admitted that any of their planes were shot down. There are a bunch of media reports in different outlets saying that one or more planes were shot down. Okay, so let's watch this video right here. Metal debris lay scattered in a village in India's Jammu and Kashmir. The planes, by the way, did not leave. So my understanding is that at least some of the missiles fired by India into Pakistan and Pakistani Kashmir were fired by planes, but planes in Pakistani airspace. Planes in Indian airspace, not Pakistani airspace. If I remember right, didn't India even say? I think India and Pakistan have both said that that the planes were not in Pakistani airspace. I'm going to check that from yesterday. I thought the Indian statement about it actually said that. I'm looking up the India official statement from yesterday. In one of the statements I'm looking at, it doesn't say. In the first statement from the government, it said Indian armed forces hit terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan, and Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, from where terrorist attacks against India have been planned and directed. 9 sites have been targeted. They didn't say that in their statement. Pakistan said that no aircraft were in Pakistani airspace. Anyways, but I'm just saying this because you might say, like, hey, if there's wreckage in Indian Kashmir, how could that be an Indian plane? Again, because my understanding is that, and Pakistan's account of it is that the planes were not in Indian, planes that launched strikes were not in Pakistani airspace. Okay, so you can see it says metal debris lay scattered in a village in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Some viewers are saying this looks like a fuel. One of the viewers said it looked like a fuel tank. So some of our viewers, I don't know, we were showing some photos last night, maybe of this piece of wreckage, and some of the viewers were saying that looks like a tank. There's a certain kind of fuel tank that fighter jets can carry to increase their range, but this is not, all the debris is not this piece. There's other debris there as well. Yeah, Walter Wynn says fuel drop tank, but this is not the only piece of debris, just to be clear. Local officials now this is local official sources. That's in Indian Kashmir, say fighter jets crashed earlier in the day. Pakistan claims it has shot down 5 Indian jets. It shot down 5 Indian jets, but India has yet to confirm.
नहीं ये तो इसका एक हिस्सा है असली जहाज तो वहां गिरा है ना भाई मेरा लग रहा है और 2 पायलट जो मिसिंग है उनको.
Anyways, so waiting to get more information on this from the Indian government. There might even be something in that article about it. Hold on a second here. What is this video? I have another video from that article. Hold on. I want to show you the other video. Here's another Reuters video. And this video, I think it's about the explosions. It's video of explosions during the Indian attack, I believe. Hang on. Check this out. Oops, hold on. One moment here. One moment. Why is this not behaving? Here. All right, let's play this video too. Multiple loud explosions are heard in the Pakistani Kashmir area around the city of Muzaffarabad. This was early morning. No, that is not live video. As I said, that was early morning video from the original Indian attack, early Wednesday morning. Here's something more about the planes here in this Reuters article. The Pakistan Prime Minister's office said 5 Indian fighter jets and drones, and also drones, had been shot down, although this was not confirmed by India. The Indian embassy in Beijing called reports of fighter jets down by Pakistan disinformation. Local government sources in Indian Kashmir told Reuters 3 fighter jets had crashed in separate areas of the Himalayan region overnight, and their pilots had been hospitalized. Indian Defense Ministry officials did not respond to Reuters' request for comment. Images circulating on local media showed a large damaged cylindrical chunk of silver-colored metal lying in a field in one of the crash sites. Reuters could not immediately verify the authenticity of that image. I just got to make sure nothing crazy is happening at the moment. Let me check for some updates. Yeah, in the last few minutes, I'm not seeing any kind of huge new update in the last few minutes. I'm looking right now. I'll certainly keep an eye out. Our viewer Tuxnor says this has been brewing for a long time. Tourists bring a lot of money into this Kashmir region. Syed, our viewer, said France confirms Rafael down by Pakistan. Well, I don't know that the French government said that. As I mentioned earlier, Jim Sciutto of CNN said that a high-ranking French intelligence official told CNN that one Rafale fighter jet operated by the Indian Air Force was down by Pakistan in what would mark the first time one of the sophisticated French-made warplanes has been lost in combat. The French official told CNN that French authorities were looking into whether more than one Rafale jets were shot down by Pakistan overnight. Now, by the way, in addition to the Indian attack, India and Pakistan also exchanged intense shelling and heavy gunfire across the line of control, their de facto border in Kashmir, with 13 civilians killed and 43 wounded on the Indian side, I guess India says, and at least 6 killed on the Pakistani side, Pakistan claims. Okay, risk of escalation. Reuters says the scale of the strikes by India went beyond India's response to previous attacks in Kashmir that it has blamed on Pakistan. An expert that Reuters talked to, Michael Kugelman, said given the scale of the Indian strike, which was far greater than we saw in 2019, we can expect a sizable Pakistani response. So, we need to, again, Pakistan is saying that it's going to carry out a further response. I'll read the quote again. Pakistan pledged to respond at a time, place, and manner of its choosing to avenge the loss of innocent Pakistani lives and blatant violation of its sovereignty. So, it sounds like we might have some significant Pakistani response, and then what happens after that? Raven Knight says that threat is serious. Raven thinks they're in planning. I mean, they could be, I don't know. It would make sense that Pakistan wouldn't know in advance what its response would be because it would want to see what India did first. Yeah, I mean, this is a post from the government of Pakistan an hour ago. We pledge that every drop of blood of these martyrs will be accounted for. Now, he did also say, the Prime Minister also did say, last night we proved that by the grace of God we know how to respond decisively in our defense. I wonder if they've posted his whole speech, the Prime Minister's whole speech, like a translation of it. Let's see. Prime Minister's office. I'll check on the website. The website does not appear to be really working very well at the moment. Here's another part of his speech. Look, this is from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who said, India will have to pay the price for the blatant mistake it has made. India may have thought we would back down, but this is their misunderstanding. By the grace of God, our falcons created such a storm in the air that the enemy screamed. The 5 Indian fighter jets that were their pride have now become nothing but a pile of debris and ashes, said Prime Minister Sharif. SK says all talk, no proof. Pakistan has said exchanges of fire continue. This is from AP. Pakistan's military says exchanges of fire continued late Wednesday. It is now early Thursday. Late Wednesday along the line of control, the de facto border between it and India and Kashmir. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is vowing that his country will avenge the 26 people his government says were killed by Indian airstrikes. He did not give details. So, I mean, obviously a big question. Assuming that Pakistan does some high-profile thing to respond, what will that be? And then how will India respond to that? This certainly does not look like this conflict that this particular episode is over. It does not look like that at all. Mams Broke thinks Pakistan should back off. Skull JJ says this happens with these two every 10 years. Well, first of all, India reportedly struck further inside Pakistan than it had struck since their war in 1971. Also, I just showed you a quote from one expert that said that that their response to this incident in Kashmir was significantly greater than the Indian response in 2019. Brick Empire Simulator says, will Pakistan respond anytime soon or in weeks or months? It's a good question. Thanks, Tim747, for your support. Thank you, Quentin from Astoria, for being a member. Thanks, the Horror Mother, for the gift membership. I appreciate that. Also, let's thank thanks Ascertainment and John Deeds for your support on Twitch. Thank you. And Of9, thanks for subscribing on Twitch. Also, thanks to our moderators. We have Big Ball of Yarn, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, and Surly Dev, all moderating on Twitch. We have Sabrina and Janet B moderating over there on YouTube. Thank you. We have, oops, I didn't want to do that. You heard two of me. Christina Neal, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body on Facebook moderating, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X, thank you. Thanks all of our mods. Thanks Jeanette Tovar for the Facebook stars. Very kind of you, Jeanette. Thanks Charlotte Webb for modding. Thanks also Sharon Klassen Goslin for subscribing on Facebook. And Martha Crawford, thank you for subscribing over there. And Kay and Margaret. All right. I mean, there could be something that happens in 5 minutes. There could be something that happens in 5 days or longer. Very tense, though. It's a tense situation. Thank you to Orvit, our new member. And I'm constantly checking for any kind of breaking updates, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. I'm going to take some more comments and questions for you guys, give you more updates here. Patel Rudra from Canada thinks Pakistan doesn't have the money or ammo for more than 10 days? Now, I haven't seen that anywhere else. It's what our viewers says. The live feed, one of our viewers said the live feed from yesterday was insane. Yeah, that was really crazy. Again, that live feed from Poonch, it ended because the cameraman had to go to safety. They had to flee. They had to go move somewhere safer. Maybe we'll get another stream from the area soon. I don't know. I also don't even know if the local governments are allowing people to stream anymore on the line of command. That's a whole other thing. Bill Walsh says, any indications of escalation today? Well, Pakistan is vowing to retaliate, so that's a pretty big deal. Hang on one moment here. Let me show you a little more on what Pakistan's response is. You can see here, Pakistan claims to have downed Indian warplanes, vows response to strikes. Oh, by the way, the Washington Post is reporting that Libya says it will not accept migrants deported from the U.S. There's been reporting saying that the U.S. is considering sending migrants to Libya, deporting people to Libya. The Washington Post is reporting, according to John Hudson, that Libya won't accept migrants deported from U.S., its leaders say. Anyways, I wanted to mention that. Hey, let's talk about this. So you can see here it says India and Pakistan were on. Now, by the way, something to keep in mind is in this environment right now, if Pakistan does what it says it's going to do and retaliates against India, is India really going to do nothing? Is India going to leave it at that? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of political pressure on India to retaliate if Pakistan retaliates. India and Pakistan were on the brink of direct conflict today for the first time since 2019 after India launched its deepest and deadliest strikes inside Pakistan in decades, and Pakistan claimed to have downed several Indian warplanes, says the Washington Post. Pakistan's government, I believe they're now saying over 30 people were killed in the strikes. India says it avoided Pakistani military and civilian targets and that the operation was aimed at militants in retaliation for last month's rampage by gunmen in a popular tourist area in Pahalgam, in Indian-administered Kashmir. India linked that attack to Pakistan. Pakistan denied any involvement and has appealed for an international investigation. The overnight attack by India has rattled Pakistan, a nation of more than 240 million people, which had braced for Indian military action for weeks, but had not anticipated the strikes would reach its heartland. So again, India didn't just attack Pakistani targets in Pakistan-controlled Kashmir, which is just a disputed territory. I should pull up a map and show you the map. That's what I should do. Let me pull up the map. Hold on a second here. Hold on. I'm going to pull up a map for you. Let me just find a good map for you. I know there was one I had a little while ago. If you give me a second, I'll dig that one up. No, that wasn't that one. Is that it? No, that's not the one. Give me another second here. I got it. I think I got it right here. It's from this article. This is an article from a few days ago in AFP. Pakistan conducts second missile test. Is that what it is? Indian missile? Oh, is this it? Hold on. Yes. Okay. So this is an article from, when was this? From May 5th. So it's an older article. But the map is there. So you can look at that map from AFP and it says, here's India. India here. Pakistan here, and this is Kashmir, disputed Kashmir. India-administered Kashmir, that's where the attack was on April 22nd, Pahalgam. Pakistan-administered Kashmir, China actually controls some of Kashmir. Up here you can see it's a map showing more, showing the whole country of India and Pakistan. But remember, India, when it launched its strikes this morning, it did not just attack targets in Pakistani-controlled Kashmir. Both Pakistan and India claim all of Kashmir. India did not just attack just areas in Pakistani-controlled Kashmir. It attacked targets in Pakistan proper itself. So that was extra provocative, and that's what it's talking about here. It says in the Washington Post article, it says the overnight attack has rattled Pakistan, a nation of more than 240 million people, which had braced for Indian military action for weeks, but had not anticipated the strikes would reach its heartland. At least 16 of the reported victims were killed in Pakistan's Punjab province, the country's most populous and wealthiest province. It was the first such Indian attack on Pakistan's Punjab province in more than half a century. So it's not this, this wasn't the exact same as previous, for example, as the 2019 Indian response to Pakistan. While the overnight strikes had echoes of a confrontation between the nuclear-armed powers 6 years ago, in 2019, Wednesday's aerial assault was much more expansive and its potential consequences more far-reaching. In 2019, after a similar militant attack in Kashmir, India responded with a single strike in a remote part of Pakistan. In the wake of the latest barrage, the countries traded rhetorical blows, with each trying to own the narrative. An Indian colonel said at their media briefing, the operation was launched to provide justice to the innocent victims of the terrorist attacks and their families. The operation targeted 9 terrorist camps and we fully destroyed them. Pakistan characterized the attacks as a cowardly strike on civilians and on the nation itself. And here's something about Pakistan's claims of shooting down warplanes. Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, said in a televised address to Parliament that the Pakistani military had shot down 5 Indian warplanes, including 3 French-made Rafales, and officials released a video showing smoke rising from an apparent crash site. Sharif said Pakistani planes never entered Indian territory and only shot down the aircraft after they had entered their payload. The claims could not be independently verified, and the Indian government did not respond to questions about the alleged losses of planes. The Prime Minister of Pakistan said, "We were ready to pounce on the enemy's planes and throw them into the sea." And as night fell in Pakistan, the most pressing question, which we've been talking about, was whether and how Pakistan would respond. The U.S. and China, Pakistan's most powerful backer, called for mediation today, but it was unclear who would take the lead on diplomatic efforts or whether the two countries were ready to engage. We'll show you some more from this article, but yeah, I mean, that's the big question right now is what is Pakistan going to do now and how will AP respond to it? Not how will AP. How will India respond to it? Jay on Guitar thinks it's going to be back and forth. Our viewer Kulfangarin says the language they use, they think it's like a game. Syed, our viewer Syed Habibullah Hussein says India is not denying the planes being shot down, which is fishy. I don't know if the government has officially not denied it or not. I don't know. The Indian government in their briefing that we covered this morning, early this morning, they did not take any questions. And they did not talk about whether planes had been shot down, in my memory. Sinan says that's a lot of planes. Either Pakistan is exaggerating or India messed up big time. Ra says Pakistan has trust me bro sources. Junie thinks that if Pakistan's going to respond, they need to do it now or the next day, or it makes them look weak. Jack says, so much misinformation from both sides. Take it all with a grain of salt. Yab Hijit says, Indian jets didn't even cross their borders. How are they claiming they've downed the jet? Well, the assumption would be is that they fired some, they could fire an anti-aircraft missile. I mean, the missile could cross the border. I would think that's the thinking. If I do get a live stream from there, I'll show it to you. But there's not one I have right now. Hold on a moment here. I do want to keep checking and making sure there's not any new big developments. Something could happen at any time. By the way, another update on I mentioned that the Washington Post was reporting that Libya would not accept U.S. deportees. Well, I also want to mention that CNN's Natasha Bertrand is reporting that the Trump administration is moving forward with plans to transport a group of undocumented immigrants to Libya. Flight trackers show that a U.S. Air Force C-17 has filed a plan to fly on Wednesday from Kelly Field in San Antonio to Misrata Airport in Libya. So we'll have to see if that actually happens. Matt Parker thinks the India-Pakistan situation is bound to escalate. I'm just checking right now, and I'm not seeing any huge new updates at the moment. You can also write to me on X at Lookner. Oh, I wanted to mention something else for this article. So if we go here, this is from the Washington Post. Couple things here. As night fell in Pakistan, the most pressing question was whether and how Pakistan would respond to the Indian attack. Pakistani Defense Minister Khawaja Asif told Bloomberg TV he was not aware of any contact between his country and India at the moment. He also hinted, however, that Pakistan might be willing to de-escalate. If India backs down, we will definitely wrap up these things, he said. After a meeting of Pakistan's National Security Council, a military spokesman for Pakistan, said the armed forces of Pakistan have been given full authority to respond at a time, place, and manner of their choosing. He warned that a full account will be taken for every last drop of innocent civilians' unjustly spilled blood. A shopkeeper in Pakistan said people in Punjab province now want to go fight the Indians. He said his walls shook where the first strike hit. People are still in a state of shock and disbelief, he said. India and Pakistan have fought multiple wars over Kashmir, a Muslim-majority territory administered in part by both nations and claimed by both in its entirety. But the region had been relatively quiet since a ceasefire brokered in 2021. In 2019, India revoked Kashmir's semi-autonomous status and launched an extensive security crackdown on militant groups. Tourists began to flourish again, drawing visitors from across India, but it came at a cost, according to rights groups, which documented arbitrary detentions and extrajudicial killings by Indian forces. The tenuous calm was shattered on April 22nd when gunmen emerged from the forest and opened fire on tourists in a popular meadow in Indian-controlled Kashmir, in an area known locally as Mini Switzerland. 26 people were killed, 25 Indians and 1 Nepali citizen, making it the deadliest assault on Indian civilians since the 2008 terrorist attacks in Mumbai, which were carried out by the Pakistan-based militant group Lashkar-e-Taiba, or LET. In a media briefing, the Indian Foreign Secretary said India had found evidence linking the militants in Pahalgam to Pakistan, but he did not make the evidence public. He blamed the attack on the Resistance Front, which India says is an offshoot of LET. The group has denied responsibility for the attack. The foreign minister of India said further attacks against India were forthcoming, according to government intelligence, and that India's response was aimed at deterrence. He did not respond to any questions about whether any Indian aircraft had been shot down by Pakistan. India's embassy in Beijing responded to a report about downed planes in a post on X saying, "We would recommend you verify your facts and cross-examine your sources before pushing out this kind of disinformation." And this mentions Poonch. So we watched a stream from Poonch, which is in Indian-controlled Kashmir near the border, the Kashmir border between Indian and Pakistani forces. And we watched a stream for hours showing intense fighting involving a bunch of artillery, for example, yesterday. There was violence along the line of control separating Indian-administered and Pakistani-administered Kashmir as well. Wednesday, medical officer Nusrat Badi said at least 12 people were killed in cross-border shelling in the town of Poonch on the Indian side, with others seriously injured. A school and a Sikh house of worship were both hit, according to India. And India said an Indian soldier had also been killed. Pakistani officials said 5 civilians were killed by Indian artillery fire on its side of the border. A lawyer, Sahid Bukhari, said, "I have never witnessed such an exchange of fire in Poonch." He awoke to loud explosions Wednesday morning. Sheltered on their ground floor, his family watched the exchange of shells targeting outposts in the Himalayan hills. When they fled in the morning, he said his town looked like a war zone. An expert, Michael Kugelman, said to the Washington Post, "The escalation risks are already much higher than they were at any point during the 2019 crisis. This time," he said, "it'll be more difficult to look for off-ramps." Another South Asia analyst, Asfandyar Mir, said the risk that the current fighting could spiral out of control has been heightened by India's choice of targets in Punjab, Pakistan, including several mosques, according to Pakistani officials. It's the heartland of the country, the cultural, socio-political heartland. It's where the military is from, and much of where the state apparatus draws from, he said. He also said the last time the Indians struck in Punjab was the 1971 war, years before either nation became a nuclear power. That war occurred when India's military became involved in a civil war in East Pakistan, which eventually became the independent nation of Bangladesh. This expert Mir said the Pakistani leadership will feel like they have legitimate grounds to respond to India in a fairly big manner to prevent India from ever attempting something like this again. Pakistan's options may range from limited airstrikes to a ground incursion, he added. Another expert, this one from Yale University, and he's a former Indian military officer, Sushant Singh, said Pakistan's response coming up will dictate the direction of the conflict. If they go and hit inside Indian Punjab or India's Rajasthan province, Singh said, referencing 2 Indian states that border Pakistan, then it would be absolutely insane. Then we are looking at a different scale. So it's interesting. That expert says it's a really big deal whether the upcoming Pakistani response, assuming there is one, hits inside India proper or, say, just hits at Indian Kashmir. Kugelman, the South Asia analyst, said it might fall to external mediation to try to help the two sides focus on de-escalation, efforts that could be led by the U.S. or Persian Gulf states, which have extensive relations with both India and Pakistan. Anyways, so it's very interesting. That's an interesting article from the Washington Post, but talking about one thing that article emphasizes is the big next step is Pakistan says they're going to respond. What do? What is the Pakistani response? And does that lead to further escalation? What does that lead to India doing? So that's the big question right now. What do you guys think will happen? I'm going to ask a poll question in a second. Oh, I've been saying Punjab. I just looked up. One of our viewers said it was Punjab. I may be pronouncing it wrong. Does Wikipedia have a pronunciation there? Hold on. I'm going to listen here. Let's see. Punjab. Punjab, says Wikipedia. I'm going to go with Punjab because that's what Wikipedia is saying. AJ Wells says pun like honey. Late Night Last Night says people in the U.S. usually pronounce it the way you said it first. I'll say Punjab. That's what Wikipedia is saying. All right, we're going to do a poll. The poll is, will this escalate more after Pakistan responds? Now, here, I'm going to say yes, no, no Pakistan response. Those are the three choices. All right, let me post that on the other. I just posted it on YouTube. Hang on a moment here. All right, I just posted it on Twitch. Now I am about to post it on Facebook. Let me post it on Facebook for the Facebook viewers, and I'll tell you what you guys had to say about it. Yes, no. All right, it's getting posted right now. Okay, I asked you guys, I said, will this escalate further after the Pakistan response, which is supposedly coming? I use the word escalate, not just continue. Over on YouTube, 76% of you say yes, it will escalate more after Pakistan responds. 12% say no, and 12% say there will be no Pakistan response. On Facebook right now, all of the respondees say yes, it will escalate further. On Twitch right now, %67% of the Twitch voters say it will escalate further. 18% say no. 14% say no Pakistan response. Oops, hold on. By the way, thanks to Matt Parker and our member, Hey New Girl. Thanks for shouting out the mods. Thanks to Dodger Blue, who says, so much going on worldwide, head is spinning. Thanks to our new member, Priyam Pandit. Thanks to Nabil Akbar, who says 5 jets shot down, according to French intelligence. I haven't seen any kind of official announcement from French intelligence on it. CNN reported that a French intelligence official told them at least 1 French jet belonging to India was shot down. But I haven't seen an official pronunciation from France on this. I'll let you know if I do. Thank you, Nabil. Thank you, Happy Hollow Christmas, our new member. Thanks also, Neath, our viewer, who says, heard about bombs in Amritsar, India? Is it true? I've not heard anything about that. I've not heard anything about it. I will keep looking for updates, but I have not heard anything about that. There have been a bunch of rumors floating around about different things. By the way, thanks for voting in our poll. So most of you think this will escalate more after Pakistan responds. I hope it doesn't, but what would escalation look like? I think it was Raven Knight, our viewer. One of our viewers was saying something like Pakistan needs to plan. Look, Pakistan didn't know. It was widely anticipated that India was going to launch some sort of attack on Pakistan. But they didn't know exactly what it would look like. So it would make sense that Pakistan, now that India has done it, Pakistan has to say to itself, okay, they did this. What do we do in response? So they wouldn't know how they were going to respond probably until the actual Indian attack happened. And at that point, they have to look at the attack and decide how to respond. Vicky thinks escalation looks like tactical nuclear weapons. I mean, that'd be an enormous escalation, obviously. So I had read some sort of article, I think it was The Economist, that said that, I think it said something like, Pakistan is known to have smaller yield tactical nuclear weapons, but India is not. But don't hold me to that. We talked about that on an earlier stream. When will they respond, Willie Taylor? I don't know. No idea. John Lai says no one is using nukes. I mean, that would be a really huge deal, obviously. So Gerald Shorts thinks it's over. Let me see if I see any updates right now. Thanks, by the way, to Kiwi Powison for subscribing on Twitch. Bad Toastery, thanks for your support on Twitch. I7 Andy, thanks for subscribing on Twitch. All right, so let me. Some people are talking about some incident. Hold on a second. Let me do a quick check and see what I'm seeing here. I can mention to you that India TV, which is an Indian news outlet, says that what is it here? I guess in some parts of India there's a mandated blackout overnight. Is that what it is? Or is that mock drills? Their headline says, complete blackout in Jaisalmer and Jodhpur of, hold on, Rajasthan until 4 a.m. Sounds like maybe it's a drill. They say mock drills were conducted in many areas of Rajasthan. As part of a mock drill, a blackout was carried out. So it's actually useful to look at a map and talk about this. So Rajasthan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is an Indian state next to Pakistan. Gujarat is also an Indian state next to Pakistan. Okay? And how about Punjab. Or Punjab. Punjab is next to Pakistan and also next to Kashmir. And then, what is it? I'm not going to pronounce this right. Himachal Pradesh is a state up here. And that state is also next to Kashmir. But if I'm getting this right, please correct me. If I'm, how about Haryana? Haryana does not border Pakistan. So the states bordering Pakistan and India are Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, and Himachal Pradesh borders Kashmir and is close to Pakistan. Yes, as Arpit says, there's a Punjab region in both. There's a Punjab region in Pakistan and there's a state in India. But so, if you're looking for areas, if Pakistan ends up, which would be provocative in its response, attacking somewhere in India, those are places you might look to. I'm not seeing anything about any kind of bombs in India. I'm checking a bunch of Indian sources, and I'm not seeing that right now. I'm checking Pakistani sources, and I'm not seeing any reports of any kind of big new developments there either. So, I mean, that could change at any time, but I'm just not seeing it at the moment. All right, hang on a moment here. Stan in Deliver thinks that Pakistan won't do anything tonight. Our viewer Kavit points out that Prime Minister Modi of India is from Gujarat, the state of Gujarat. Sorry, some people are sending me things too. So I'm checking out some of the things people have sent me. Sports Card Collector says, I thought Pakistan responded already, shooting down Indian fighter jets in the constant fighting in Poonch. So the shooting down of the fighter jets, if it happened, wouldn't be I don't think that would be a response. That would be like an in-the-moment defensive action. Pakistan had said last night after the India attack that it was responding. And clearly there was fighting going on. It's a fair question that Sports Card Collector makes. There was fighting going on some intense fighting going on in Kashmir. There might still be some going on right now. I can't tell. But there was definitely stuff going on earlier today. But that Pakistan is clearly not saying that was the total response. So they could have said that. But that's not how they're spinning it. So, as I mentioned, the government is saying there's going to be a further response. I mean, Pakistan can say whatever it wants. They can say we responded or we didn't respond. But they're saying there's going to be a further response. For example, Pakistani leaders says deaths will be avenged. Pakistani Prime Minister Sharif is vowing his country will avenge the 26 people his government says were killed by Indian airstrikes. He did not give details. The government also said Pakistan reserves the right to respond in self-defense at a time, place, and manner of its choosing, and that the armed forces have been authorized to take corresponding actions to avenge what it called a violation of the country's sovereignty. So it certainly sounds like they say there's going to be more of a response. But, in a situation like this, you don't know what they're considering their response. But given what they've been saying recently, in recent hours, it suggests that they are intending to do more of a response. Our viewer Abdullah asked about Dr. Abdullah asked about China, what China said. Yeah, we read a Chinese statement about this on our previous stream, but I might have it right here. Why is this not behaving here? Why is this not behaving? This site. What is going on with this site? It is not behaving like it should. Huh? Hold on a moment. Here it is right here. Here's what China had to say. The Chinese Foreign Ministry. Question. Recently, tensions between India and Pakistan have continued to escalate. India launched a military strike on targets in Pakistan in the early hours of the 7th, and Pakistan responded strongly. What is China's comment? China regrets India's military action this morning and is concerned about the current developments. India and Pakistan are inseparable neighbors and are also China's neighbors. China opposes all forms of terrorism. We call on both India and Pakistan to prioritize peace and stability, remain calm, and exercise restraint, and avoid actions that further complicate the situation. That is what China said. Yeah, and people keep sending me stuff from the internet, not from, well-known news outlets. There's all kinds of rumors floating around online and just unsourced claims of X, Y, and Z happening. So I would not believe these claims until you have more reliable sourcing. If there's something going on big, you'll be hearing about it more than from one random social media account. Where is... Oh, I have some more pictures of damage for you guys to show you. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you right now. Hang on a moment. One moment here. All right, so this is, Reuters says, reduced to rubble, India strikes alleged headquarters of militant groups in Pakistan's heartland. I'm going to show you a big version of the pictures. Video footage from the earlier hours of Wednesday. Video footage from the early hours of Wednesday shows a bright flash from the residential Islamic seminary outside of Bahawalpur in central Pakistan as India attacked its neighbor in response to the killing of Indian tourists in Kashmir. The seminary was emptied of its students in recent days as speculation grew that it would be targeted by India. But the family of Masood Azhar, founder of the Jaish-e-Mohammed Islamist militant group, was still there, according to the group. 10 of Azhar's relatives were among 13 people killed in the strike, including women and children, the Pakistani military said. Thousands of people turned out for their funerals at a sports stadium later in the day. Further north, around half an hour after midnight, 4 Indian missiles hit a sprawling complex in Muridki over 6 minutes, said a local government official. That attack demolished a mosque and adjacent administration building and buried 3 people in the rubble. Oops, sorry. So let me show you a couple pictures here. This is going to be in Muridki and Muzaffarabad. A mosque and a mosque. So here are two pictures of sites damaged in Pakistan. Sites attacked in Pakistan by India from Reuters. There's one picture right there. And then here's the other one. And those are targets in Pakistan, not Pakistani Kashmir, Pakistan proper. Again, I do not have any kind of live stream available at the moment from Kashmir. So if I had one, I'd put it on the screen for you, but I don't have that. I don't know if there'll be Uncle Boyd says, when will we get a live cam? I don't know if you'll see one again. I don't know if the internet is working there. I don't know if I don't know if the local governments are allowing for it there. I don't know. You might not get one. Maybe you will, or maybe you won't. I think we were very lucky to have what we did yesterday. Thank you to our member, Drunken Monkey. Thank you, Dave Wilson, who says he is checking Al Jazeera for some updates. Thank you, Dave. Tuxnor claims there's a live stream. Look, I can only show live streams that I have the rights to. I can't just take whatever I want from the internet. So if I get one that I have the rights to, I will certainly let you know. Hey, thanks to Joner Games for the gift membership too. Joe Bishop, our viewer, says Pakistan has to respond to show strength, but will hit dirt. Spectre is wondering why there are not more photos or videos of downed jets in India, in Indian-controlled Pakistan, if they were indeed shot down. Hang on one moment here. By the way, I want to mention The Economist has some analysis. I really like The Economist. I think they give a lot of really interesting analysis of different issues going on in the world. They have a new article. I haven't even seen it today. And their article is entitled, "Luck Stands Between De-Escalation and Disaster for India and Pakistan." They say sooner or later the luck will run out. I'm not going to read the whole article, but let me just take a quick skim through it and see what they say. They say something like the pattern going on now has occurred several times since the year 2000. Let's see here. But they say also that things have changed in recent decades. They say Pakistan has become more unstable. They say that there's more advanced arms in both countries, and they say that the world, the rest of the world pays less attention to the situation. To Pakistan. And they say that the Economist says that the underlying causes of the conflict need to be tackled, or stuff like this will keep happening. They say that India needs to end its repression of the part of Kashmir it controls. They say Pakistan needs to stop tolerating militants. And then the last line of the article is, sooner or later the luck will run out. And I guess they mean that they think that if these kind of conflicts keep going on between India and Pakistan, at some point it is going to escalate. That's interesting. And again, these are both nuclear powers. You can check that out in The Economist. Luck stands between de-escalation and disaster for India and Pakistan. Whose luck? So I don't think they got really detail about the luck there, but what I can say is, so for example, one reason you might say luck matters is, when there's military activity, things can get hit that aren't intended to be hit. A missile could go off course, and it could strike a civilian target, a sensitive target, and that could create a situation where the country that's hit feels the need to respond. That would be one case where luck plays a role. Yeah, collateral damage, says Gary Baines. And also they say, fortunately, the military exchanges so far between the two countries have been measured. But maybe there's a situation where politics plays a role too. There might be a situation where something happens such that the domestic pressure on the politicians in a country, if they feel that they have to, ramp things up even more to satisfy the people in the country, and that could lead to some escalation as well. So it's it's a good question about the luck. It doesn't really go specifically into that in the article, but that I'm seeing just skimming it over. But look, when you have military conflict, it's not clear what's going to happen. And just another example, back in 2019, an Indian plane got shot down and an Indian pilot was taken prisoner, I believe for several days, in Pakistan. What happens if somehow a soldier or a pilot on one side ends up being captured by the other side? Maybe civilians capture the person. Maybe something bad happens to that soldier or prisoner, which wasn't planned to happen. And that causes escalation. All kinds of things can happen that aren't anticipated. Periodically in our chat, I'll say this again, people keep saying there's this missile that was launched, there's bombs going off, there's attacks going on. I am constantly checking Indian and Pakistani media, and I'm not seeing any of these reports. I'll repeat again, there's all kinds of just misinformation going on about what's happening, just as there was this morning. Just because someone somewhere on the internet says something is happening does not mean it's true. And as I said, if something happens, you're not going to just see it on one random social media account. So if I get something reliable, I will certainly let you know. I guess, people have been talking in our chat, and some people on the internet have been randomly posting stuff for like 20 minutes about Amritsar, India. But I have not seen any of the Indian or Pakistani sources I follow mention it. And I would think that if there was something big going on there, it would be getting mentioned. So again, if I have reliable info, I will let you know. But what happens is somebody posts something and then somebody else picks up on it and posts it, and then everybody starts posting everybody else's things. Happens again and again. And I just see people repeating other people's reports without any kind of source I would consider reliable reporting it. So if I see anything I consider reliable, I'll let you know. Whoa, what's happening? That was a weird thing where I started getting sound for no reason. Okay, I see here. Yes, I agree with Dr. Lexus. If something's true, it'll come out eventually, and you'll start seeing more reports on it, rather than random accounts posting on social media. Yeah, I have nothing reliable about Amritsar, India. And everybody's forwarding like the same video again and again and again. No. And for 20 minutes, people have been posting other people's posts about Amritsar, India. If something big happens there, there will be more evidence of it. I will let you know. And actually, one of our viewers, sent me a post on social media about Amritsar from 34 minutes ago. Here's something from ANI. ANI says, ANI from India just came out with a report. They say, taking utmost caution, Amritsar district in India has started the blackout process. Please stay at home. Do not panic and do not gather outside your houses. Please keep the outside lights switched off. Amritsar DPRO. So that's a report from ANI that they just came out with. That's an Indian news outlet, ANI. They say, taking utmost caution, Amritsar District Administration has again started the blackout process. Please stay at home. Do not panic and do not gather outside your houses. Keep the outside lights switched off. I'll show you where that is, by the way. If I can pull it up on the screen here. It is a city in the state of Punjab in India. Is it Punjab? Punjab, India. Close to Pakistan. So, Amritsar. You can say Kashmir's up here. It is a state. It is a city here in Punjab. And it is about 20 miles from the border with Pakistan. The time in India is about 2 a.m., 2:04 a.m. in India. So again, ANI reports that the Amritsar District Administration has started the blackout process, taking utmost caution. People are told to stay at home, do not panic, and do not gather outside your houses, and keep the outside lights switched off. Wajahat Kazmi, who is a reporter who reports on Pakistan news, he says he's hearing from sources that Pakistan has not hit Amritsar. Tanish says Amritsar is a very major city, so they'd really not want to hit that. I mean, it would be quite provocative, as we were reading an article talking about this before, it would be quite provocative if Pakistan were to respond to India and attack some target in India proper, not just in Indian Kashmir. Amritsar, over 1 million people live in Amritsar. Over 1 million people live there. By the way, if there were some big Pakistani strike in Amritsar, I think you'd know about it by now. Because people started posting messages on social media about Amritsar about 40 minutes ago. I'd be shocked if there was some big strike there and 40 minutes later you hadn't really heard anything about it. Yash thinks it's a sonic boom. There were some unconfirmed reports floating around that somebody had heard some people had heard some explosions over there. I don't know. But they have ordered a blackout there. That I can confirm to you, because I just saw that reported by a major Indian news outlet. Why they're doing a blackout process in Amritsar, India at 2 a.m., I'm not sure. I'm not really seeing anything else about it right now. If I see more, I'll let you know. I'm looking around. Some of our viewers are saying make it harder to target. My point is, why now? Why right now is my question. Again, I do find it hard to believe that there was any kind of significant attack there 45 minutes ago, and you're hearing so little about it now. I mean, maybe people heard something over there or something, or saw something odd, but there's just no more significant reporting about any kind of attack or something. Sarpa says perhaps Indian intelligence has some info about a potential attack. Thank you, Rich Stancliffe, who says the Indian Army is carrying out mock drills in multiple areas. Reports of explosions might be related to this, in this case, Amritsar. Yeah, I mean, we have seen reports. We were reading a report earlier on the air about India having civil defense drills. I don't know if what's going on right now is a drill. It's not. There's the ANI report. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Rich Stancliffe. The ANI report said that taking utmost caution, Amritsar District Administration has again started the blackout process. Please stay at home, do not panic, and do not gather outside your houses. Keep the outside lights switched off. That's all the report says from ANI. So it doesn't say whether it's a drill or not and what led to that being announced. Our viewer Yabhishit Dutta says, in my city there is a drill going on. One of our viewers pointed out that the Hindustan Times had a post about it, but it's basically the same as the ANI post. Doesn't really give any more information than the ANI post did. Maybe I can find, though. Where is there? Do they have a social media page I can find for the district? That would be helpful. I'm on their website, but I don't see one. Announcements? No, I don't see anything from their website. Thanks, by the way, to Akash Dutta for your support. I really appreciate it, Akash Dutta. Also, Johnny Tabasco, who thinks maybe people there heard a sonic boom from a fighter jet. No, there's no live webcams I have from India or Pakistan or Kashmir right now. Ashen1 says 40 plus minutes. No real news by now. I'm going to hope there's been no attack. Again, there's like rumors floating around online that people, I guess, saw or heard something in Amritsar. I'm pronouncing this right. Amritsar, India. But there's not much reliable on that right now. Yeah, I guess some people claim they heard some booms, and some people might have said they saw something flying through the air. But again, these claims have been going on for over 40 minutes. And the longer it goes without any kind of, more reliable evidence, the more it makes me think that nothing big happened. But I'll let you know. Why is it that, I was showing you this map. Sorry. Again, that's where this city of over 1 million people is located, about 20 miles from Pakistan, Amritsar. One of our viewers said, I'm surprised Rita Evans-Lang, one of our subscribers on Facebook, said, I'm surprised the live stream was allowed yesterday for as long as it was from Kashmir. Yeah, I mean, it's not certainly, it sometimes happens that in conflict zones, governments say don't live stream. By the way, NDTV posted the same thing. It's the announcement from the actual Amritsar I think it's Department of Public Protection or something, or District Public Relations Office. That's what it is. Oh, look, I have an update for you from about Amritsar. So, the current announcement from Amritsar is from their District Public Relations Office is taking utmost caution. Amritsar District Administration has again started the blackout process. Please stay at home, do not panic, and do not gather outside your house's lights. Keep the outside lights switched off. But just so you know, there was already a blackout earlier scheduled tonight. So look at that, 9 hours ago. Amritsar, the same office, had posted, electricity will be cut off for half an hour in the entire district at 10:30 p.m. Now, it's hours after that now. They said the lights will be switched off as soon as the siren goes off, so people should not panic. It's just part of the practice. They said don't use elevators at that time. There's a danger of getting stuck due to the power cut. If you're on the road, then stop the car by turning off the lights, by putting it in a raw place on the roadside. So they were already having a blackout practice several hours ago. Now, maybe they're just doing another one. I don't know. They also posted 9 hours ago, during the current situation, many types of rumors, false news, or wrong suggestions are coming through social media. So it is requested to follow the page of Public Relations Department, Government of Punjab, to get information. Oh, maybe I'll go there too. No, that's the same one. There's nothing new on that page, by the way. So I don't even know if this, when they say they're doing a blackout there again, is that just part of the practice again? FJ says, who I follow, at NatSecJeff, who covers a lot of Pakistan stuff, at NatSecJeff, he says, Pakistani sources tell me that Pakistan has not yet carried out any strikes in India, so those reports about some explosions heard in India and some videos going around are not from any Pakistani strike. That's what he believes. And again, if Pakistan is going to carry out some retaliation on India, you will know it. You will know it. It will not be a couple of lights going through the sky. You'll know. Because the point of doing it is to have it be public. It's not supposed to be really subtle. Yeah, I'm not saying anything more right now. Skull thinks that Pakistan could not afford a war. They should instead focus on their terrible economy and fighting off terrorists in their own country. That's what our viewer Skull says. Sadistic Angel says, I don't think Pakistan would attack Amritsar, a major city in Punjab province, India. Or not Punjab, Punjab. Let me remind you what an analyst told the Washington Post. A lecturer at Yale University, Sushant Singh, and he's also a former Indian military officer, he said Pakistan's response will dictate the direction of the conflict. If they go and hit inside Indian Punjab, which is where Amritsar is, or India's Rajasthan province, Singh said, then it would be absolutely insane. Then we are looking at a different scale. It would be highly provocative for them to do that. Checking a couple other things here. Where is, hang on a moment. You know, the New York Times in an article today said Pakistan can scarcely afford a protracted war at a time of severe economic hardship. The Times makes an interesting point also. They say that India said it attacked terrorist sites. It went out of its way to say it didn't attack like Pakistani military sites. India said, we attacked terrorist sites. That's what India says. And the New York Times points out that, well, Pakistan doesn't have any kind of, there wouldn't be sites that Pakistan could attack where they could just say, we hit terrorist sites. So, you know, what do they hit is the question. And they say the New York Times thinks if the Pakistan attacked like the Indian military sites, that could really be escalatory. And one analyst that the New York Times talked to said that there's debate in Pakistan about whether they can just stop it saying they shot down aircraft. Yeah, I mean, I would not certainly be surprised if this is still a big debate going on in Pakistan. I mean, it's a huge question what they do next. Just Too Fast thinks they will hit military sites. The Wall Street Journal says it talks to experts who said it's difficult to to know how exactly Pakistan will respond. They also mention they say Pakistan is currently confronting an economic and political crisis that could restrain its response from going as big as they normally could. But again, yeah, I mean, I've read several articles today talking about how it's just not clear what Pakistan is going to do next, and that's the big question. Bullet 850 says, lest we forget who was harboring bin Laden. Thank you, Bullet 850. There's an unconfirmed video floating around that supposedly shows something being shot into the sky that was taken by somebody in Jalandhar, which is near Amritsar, if I'm pronouncing that right. FJ posted that. Again, I don't know if it's legit. I'll post a link to it in the chat. Here, FJ reposted this. I just posted a link. It's like from a half hour ago. And it's a video supposedly taken from Jalandhar, so Amritsar is here. Jalandhar is probably, 50 miles from Amritsar? There's Jalandhar. Probably about, 60, 70 miles from Pakistan? I don't know. Maybe a person did see something there. I'm not sure. Amritsar. So I just posted, you can watch that video in the chat. I just posted the link in the chat. You can watch it if you want. I don't know what to make of it. Thank you, by the way, so much to Nautica Renewables Group, who says, I believe the reason India did not deny the shooting down of 5 jets, which likely didn't happen, that's what our viewer Nautica thinks, was to dilute Pakistan's public obligation for a larger retaliation. Interesting thought from our viewer Nautica Renewables Group. Hey, thank you so much for your support. That's really nice of you. Thank you. Master Station is wondering if maybe the thing being shot up in the air in that video, which I don't even know if it's a legit video, is from a surface-to-air missile defense system. ANI India reports, hey guys, ANI India says that Amritsar has resumed blackout measures as part of a nationwide civil defense drill. That's what the Indian outlet ANI is saying. They're saying that the blackout in Amritsar is part of a nationwide civil defense mock drill ordered by the Ministry of Home Affairs. That's what A&I says. I mean, they definitely had a blackout, a short blackout planned for 10:30 p.m. Now it's later than that. So is it part of the drill or is it something else? I don't know. Game Guide says we got notice before the attack that we were going to practice drills. Before the India attack. Yeah, I don't have a live stream available from the region at this point. If I ever get one available, I'll certainly show it to you. But I don't have one available at this point. So again, some people online are claiming that they saw something in the air, flying through the air over Amritsar, India. These reports started happening about an hour ago or so. Some people, I guess, say that they heard some stuff, heard some explosions maybe. There's a video floating around supposedly showing something flying through the air. I don't have confirmation on anything happening for you there. Again, I have to imagine that if this was part of I have to imagine that if this was part of some Pakistani response to India, you'd be seeing and hearing a lot more. I can't imagine that, given what we've heard and seen so far, that this is part of a Pakistani of a big public Pakistani response to India. Game Guide says we got notice a few days prior to the attack on Pakistan of the blackout. And you mean in Amritsar? Game Guide thinks it's a... Again, I don't want to just do this a million times, but the announcement I saw on the Facebook page for Amritsar, I'm pronouncing this wrong, I'm sure. Amritsar said that they were having a blackout at around 10:30 p.m. It's later than that now. Supposedly they're having another one. But is that officially part of the drill? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's also possible. It's possible that something got launched. One of our viewers was saying this. FJ just posted a post suggesting something like this. It's possible that there was some kind of anti-aircraft fire or anti-missile fire that was launched in the area, and people saw something get fired up into the air. Maybe it was a false alarm. Maybe it was thought that something was flying overhead. So that could have happened, and you'd hear stuff and you'd see stuff. Amritsar. Sorry, I keep saying it wrong. Yeah, C4 says they can't cover up if anything happened there. You know, if there's some big explosion, you're going to certainly see more about it. By the way, shout out to our moderators. I really appreciate it. Ruth Krafasi over there on YouTube moderating. Sabrina, Janet B, Beth Mythical, BZ. All of our other moderators over there on YouTube, on Twitch. Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, and Surly Dev. Oops, I hadn't closed the poll on Facebook. Kay Lowry, Body, Margaret Riley, Christina Neal over there on Facebook, Linda Bell, Misha, Larry on X. Thank you, Corey. Hey, I really appreciate your support, Corey, and also Bagelis. Thank you. No, I do not have any cameras. Believe me, if I get any relevant cameras, I'll put them right on the screen, right on the air for you. Nothing available right now. Also, thank you, Adsamili Rohith Chowdhury, who thinks Indian jets have not been shot down. He says they didn't enter Pakistani airspace. He thinks the attacks on the terrorist camps were by suicide drones. Thank you, Adus Mealy. There could be some big Pakistani response tonight. There could be nothing tonight. Just don't know. Yeah, Adus Mealy, we talked about that earlier several times. As Adus Mealy says, India's attack was in retaliation for a terror attack on Indian tourists in Indian-controlled Kashmir on April 22nd, which India says the Pakistani government played a role in, which the Pakistani government denies. So we talked about that several times before, but thank you for mentioning that again and for your support. Adus Samili, Rohith Chowdhury, I really appreciate that. No, people keep asking for cameras. Again, I'm not keeping them from you. They're just, we were lucky to have the one we did yesterday. I don't know if we'll get another one. If we do, I will certainly put it on the screen for you. It'd be great to have them to get a better idea of what's going on in Kashmir. I can't tell you right now. I'm not hearing, during the last several hours, reports of intense fighting in Kashmir. I would think if there were intense fighting in Kashmir, we'd be hearing reports of it. And I just haven't been hearing that. Haven't been seeing it from Pakistani sources, haven't been seeing it from Indian sources. One of our viewers claims they're from Amritsar and said they heard some loud blasts. I don't know if that's true. I can't confirm that the viewer is from there. Our viewer, URK Gaming. Well, what we'll do is we'll go a little while longer and we'll see if anything happens. But, you know, big question right now is Pakistan has said suggested they're going to respond further. But, I have a map here too that I can show you. But what are they going to do? How is Pakistan going to respond? I can show you pictures of a drill as well. Some pictures of a mock drill. So how is Pakistan going to respond, and will that lead to further escalation? All right, let's see here. Don't want that. So here is a map. Here is a map from AP. That shows you where you can see right there. That's a nice, that's a good map. India, Pakistan. Then this is up here, Kashmir. India administered Kashmir, Pakistan administered Kashmir. They both claim Kashmir. And there's on the map India missile strike. But in addition to striking in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, India also struck in, for example, Bahawalpur in Punjab, Pakistan, which I think is the first time they've struck in Punjab in Pakistan since 1971. And then I have some photos from that article. Oops. Here. All right, let me tell you what these photos are of. I'm going to show you some photos from the article, from the AP article, which I hadn't shown yet on the broadcast. Oops. Here. All right, here we go. Let me put these on the screen for you. Okay. This one here is, that one is, I have to find it here for the caption. Security force officials stand outside a damaged building at a site of a suspected Indian missile attack near Muzaffarabad, the capital of Pakistan-controlled Kashmir. We saw a different picture of that building before. That picture is supposed wreckage. That is, that's Indian-controlled Kashmir. This is, hold on. Debris of an aircraft, supposedly, lies in the compound of a mosque at Pampur in Pulwama district of Indian-controlled Kashmir. Oh, also, I need to refresh the chat window so I can see the chat again. Some of our viewers believe that is a fuel tank that came from a fighter jet. Okay, here's another photo for you. A drop tank, they are saying. That is more, I think that's the same piece, isn't it? Oops, hold on. I'm going to read you the description of the photo. The official description of the photo from AP. It says, debris of an aircraft lie in the compound of a mosque. This is in Indian-controlled Kashmir. Still has not been clarified for sure whether Indian planes got shot down. There's some independent reporting which suggests they did, at least one of them, but we don't know. This is local residents stand outside a mosque of an Islamic seminary partially damaged by a suspected Indian missile attack. And this is in on the outskirts of Bahawalpur, Pakistan. Oh, so that got basically, I haven't seen this before. So the top got blown off? See that? The minaret, is it? It's missing. I hadn't seen this one before. Look at this one. Again, this is in Pakistan. Okay. Next one. These are drill pictures. So we've been talking about drills going on in India. So I'm going to show you some picture from drills. Civil defense members carry out a mock drill at a metro station to train civilians and security personnel to respond in case of attack. That's in New Delhi. So there are these drills going on in India for people to prepare in case there's an attack. Yes, that is in New Delhi. Doesn't mean they're confident there will be an attack there, but maybe they just want people to be prepared. This is another drill. That's not real. It's a civil defense members carry out a mock drill. Those are not really injured people in a market to train civilians and security personnel to respond in case of attack in New Delhi, India. They're also training first responders. So again, those are not injured people. That is a drill. Sharon Klassen-Gosselin says, very good to practice this. Sinan says they weren't prepared in Poonch, so the drills are a good idea. I don't know if they've been prepared in Poonch. Blood Bag Bill says, lay down. Adam Colella, I don't know what the current status of things is in Kashmir. I have not heard reports in the last few hours of significant artillery fire there, but I don't know. Here's another picture from the article. This is another drill picture. People rush to a safe place during a security mock drill at a mall in Ahmedabad, India. This is in Ahmedabad, India, which is in the state of Gujarat, which borders Pakistan, I believe, if I have that right. So that's a drill where people are rushing to a safe place. Bo Bomber says, Bill, baby drill. Zafar Khan says, India loves nothing more than to scare and control its people. Well, look, I mean, first of all, you do a drill to prepare people. Also, there may be some, I don't know if any of the motivation in doing drills around the country is to kind of, is there a political motivation in doing it? That I don't know. This is another picture from a drill. This is not a real event. It's not a real person being injured. The caption says, this is in a mall in Ahmedabad, India, in, again, Gujarat state, next to Pakistan. Fire brigade workers and paramedics participate in a security mock drill at a mall in Ahmedabad, India. Snow says preparing can save lives. Marv says, I highly doubt this has a political motivation. This happened in their own country, so of course they're preparing for the worst case scenario. Something else they might think is maybe they think, well, there could be some kind of a, like a terror attack somewhere. Doesn't have to be an attack, doesn't have to be missiles flying in. There could be somebody inside the country that carries something out. Right? In this highly tense, in this time of escalated tensions. And then that is also a photo from a drill. What's this one? National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, and Mumbai Fire Brigade workers take part in a mock drill in Mumbai, India, amid rising fears of wider conflict. That was Wednesday. Looks like they're getting somebody down from a building. Hey, thank you, Kiwi. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the U.S. relations with the two countries. That's what Kiwi asked about. We haven't really talked about that today. Maybe in a little bit. Thank you, Kiwi, for your support. I really appreciate it. Thanks also, Abhishek Singh, for being a new member. And then there was another photo here. That's another drill photo from today. National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, and Mumbai Fire Brigade workers take part in a mock drill in Mumbai, India. So we've already shown you drills taking place today in several cities in India. I think that's all the photos from that article. That was from this article. By the way, Trump calls the violence so terrible. President Trump called the escalating conflict between India and Pakistan so terrible and urged both sides to stop the violence. My position is I get along with both. I know very well and I want to see them work it out, he said in the Oval Office. He said, if I can do anything to help, I will be there. And we talked about this a little earlier. India says its strikes on Pakistan were to avenge innocence. The Indian defense minister said today his government had exercised its right to respond while launching strikes in Pakistan to avenge the killings of innocent civilians on Indian soil last month. He's talking about Indian civilians killed in an attack, a terror attack in India-controlled Kashmir, which India says Pakistan was involved with and Pakistan says they weren't. He says, we killed only those who killed our innocents, he said. He said, our strike was well planned and executed with precision and sensitiveness. It was restricted to terror targets and dismantling terror infrastructure. I thank you, Bossmatic G. That's very kind of you, Bossmatic G. Oops. Yeah, and here's something else about Trump. Oh, no, it's not really anything new. Trump offers to help India, Pakistan as tensions rise. He said he wants them to stop attacking each other, and he offered to help the two countries work out their differences. That's from Reuters. This is interesting. You know, what is this here? Oh, hold on a second here. Residents of Pakistani Kashmir said they fled into hills during Indian strikes. Residents of the capital of Pakistan-administered Kashmir, Muzaffarabad, said they fled their homes and ran into surrounding hills as India launched airstrikes early Wednesday morning in a part of the city. Mosque loudspeakers told people to seek shelter as the ground shook repeatedly and sounds of explosions reverberated, they said. One witness said, "We came outside, then another blast happened, the whole house moved, everyone got scared, we all evacuated, took our kids and went up the hill." One person said Sher Mir told Reuters he and his family spent 4 hours in the open. Some of his neighbors had gone to the hospital with injuries and the rest were shaken, he said. Yeah, Ab Dervesh. Thank you, Ab Dervesh. I actually read that report a couple times earlier in the broadcast. But thank you for reminding me. I'll say it again. Jim Sciutto of CNN had reported earlier today that a high-ranking French intelligence official told CNN one Rafale fighter jet operated by the Indian Air Force was downed by Pakistan in what would mark the first time that one of the sophisticated French-made warplanes has been lost in combat. The French official told CNN that French authorities were looking into whether more than one Rafale jet was shot down by Pakistan. So again, CNN is reporting that a French intelligence official told CNN that at least one Rafale fighter jet operated by Indian Air Force was shot down by Pakistan. But that has not been confirmed. That's not a public statement, by the way. That's a statement to CNN, but they haven't announced it publicly. We'll see how the information on the planes progresses. Thank you, Ab Dervesh. I really appreciate that. Also, Katie Girl and BBG. Thanks so much for the gift memberships. BBG, that's very kind of you. Make sure you thank somebody if they give you a gift membership or a gift subscription like BBG did. By the way, India time right now is 3:02 a.m. It's 3:02 a.m. India time. GOTV is a news outlet that covers Pakistan. GOTV. And I just saw a report from one of their reporters that I want to mention. Hang on a moment here. Geo News. It's a Pakistani news channel. GOTV. It's owned by GeoTV, or no, is GeoTV its own channel? GeoTV is a news channel. I guess it's a little confusing. Wikipedia says Geo News HD is a Pakistani news channel. It was launched as the news and current affairs program under its flagship channel, GeoTV. I think GeoTV is its own channel too. Anyways, Murtaza Ali Shah, who's a reporter with GeoTV, which is a Pakistani news channel, he says, he posted 15 minutes ago claiming that Pakistan did not attack Amritsar, India, and all such social media reports are false. Well-placed Pakistani security sources confirm. Yes, I'm pretty confident that's true. Why? As we've been talking about, there were some social media claims going around that people might have heard some explosions in Amritsar, India, or seen stuff being flying through the sky. I cannot imagine, this was well over an hour ago, I cannot imagine that Pakistan would launch its big response to India on this major Indian city, and it would be well over an hour after, and you would have heard nothing else about it. Doesn't make much sense. Maybe there was something exploded there. Maybe something got fired up into the sky there, like anti-aircraft fire or something. I don't know. I can't imagine that was some sort of Pakistani attack. It doesn't make any sense. All right, hang on, I'm just going through some things people have sent me. Excuse me. Hang on a moment. Thanks, Fakhar Ali, for sending me the map you sent. Our viewer, Koro, says that the Amritsar blackout was part of a mock drill conducted today. It took place after 7 to 8 p.m. In some places, sirens were used, and while in others they weren't. The blackout was mostly manual. Civilians had to shut off external lights and everything. Our viewer also said, who I guess is maybe there, not Koro, LOL, said even in Rajasthan, there was a short blackout around 2:10 a.m. Thanks for writing in. Again, no live cams I can show you right now. Let's see here. By the way, something Reuters said is that the Indian strike on Pakistan is the worst fighting between the neighbors in over 2 decades. This was an article from earlier today. They have a list of some different fighting, article with different incidents between India and Pakistan. They say that the India and Pakistan fought 3 wars in the past. What is this? Oh, let me show you something else here. Let me show you something else. I have something else to show you. Are India and Pakistan at risk of war? Says the Washington Post. Tensions between India and Pakistan intensified today after India's military launched strikes against the neighboring country in response to a militant attack in Indian-administered Kashmir last month, heightening fears of war between the nuclear-armed rivals. I think Pakistan is saying over 30 people were killed in those strikes now. These strikes have set the region on edge and shattered the fragile ceasefire that has largely held since 2021, with analysts warning of escalation in the decades-long conflict that has riven the South Asian subcontinent over the Muslim-majority region of Kashmir, parts of which are controlled by India and parts by Pakistan, though the area is claimed in full by both countries. The Indian strikes were on a far bigger scale than in 2019 when India struck a single remote Pakistani site in response to a suicide bombing that killed more than 40 Indian soldiers in Kashmir. That was the response in 2019. India striking a single remote site in Pakistan. The rise in tensions follows an deadly April 22 attack on tourists near the town of Pahalgam in Indian-administered Kashmir. Really terrible attack. Gunmen armed with rifles killed 25 Indians and 1 Nepalese citizen. More than a dozen others were injured. That was the deadliest attack against civilians since the 2008 Mumbai attacks that killed 166 people. India has long accused Pakistan of fomenting separatist violence in Kashmir. The Indian Foreign Secretary said today, I believe without presenting evidence publicly, that India had found evidence linking the militants in Pahalgam attack to Pakistan. Indian-administered Kashmir is a heavily militarized zone. An armed insurgency, either seeking independence or favoring accession to Pakistan, has continued against Indian rule in Kashmir, in the part of Kashmir they control, for more than 3 decades. The Hindu nationalist government of Prime Minister Modi revoked Kashmir's semi-autonomous status in August 2019 and instituted a crackdown, including imposing the world's longest internet shutdown in a democracy. promising development and investment, New Delhi had touted a return to relative peace, citing the surge of tourists to the region, a narrative upended by the deadly attack last month. All right, just to skim over some of this, India said it attack targeted 9 sites in Pakistan. It said it was non-escalatory, its attack. Pakistan's leaders condemned the strikes as an act of war. Pakistan claims it shot down 5 Indian warplanes. Pakistan officials released a video showing smoke from apparent wreckage that officials claimed was from one of the downed planes. These claims could not be independently verified. The Indian government gave no immediate response. What is the dispute over Kashmir? This is some interesting background. Tensions over Kashmir date back to 1947, when the British-ruled Indian subcontinent was partitioned into the independent nations of Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan. Kashmir, the mountainous region of Kashmir, spans about 85,000 square miles between India, Pakistan, and China, and its status has been a sore point for the 3 nations for decades. Various agreements have led to the current governance arrangements, but each nation has competing claims of sovereignty over Kashmir or parts of it. Conflicts in which Kashmir was a central issue broke out between India and Pakistan in 1947, 1965, and 1999, and between India and China in 1962, with flare-ups of violence and saber-rattling along the militarized borders continuing to the present day. Also, India and Pakistan went to war in 1971 when the Indian military became involved in a civil war in East Pakistan. The conflict eventually resulted in East Pakistan becoming the independent nation of Bangladesh. Before partition, in 1947, the area, Kashmir, was a Muslim-majority princely state called Jammu and Kashmir that was under British rule. Afterward, despite his initial plans for its independence, the state's Hindu monarch agreed to join India as he faced an internal rebellion and attacks from tribes in Pakistan. Direct conflict erupted between the Indian and Pakistani armed forces until the United Nations oversaw a ceasefire that split the state into a northwest section administered by Pakistan and the larger section administered by India. The unofficial border between the two is called the Line of Control. An eastern section of Kashmir has remained under Chinese control since a brief war with India in 1962. What nuclear weapons do they have? The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute estimates that Pakistan and India each possess about 170 nuclear warheads. The role of nuclear weapons in India's military doctrine, which had earlier been focused on deterring Pakistan, appears in recent years to have shifted to countering China, with a growing emphasis on longer-range weapons. Okay. Neither country is a signatory to the UN Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. India called its strikes Operation Sindoor because Sindoor is the Hindi word for the powdered vermilion pigment that married Hindi women wear on their foreheads and hair. The Indian Army posted a photo of the powder on X with a post saying justice had been served for the militant attack in Pahalgam, which killed mostly male tourists. Indian media have described the choice of the name Operation Sindoor as a tribute to women who lost their husbands in the attack. Anyway, that's a little background. I don't normally just read that much, but a little bit of background on Kashmir, on what this is all about. But you can see that Kashmir has been a disputed territory between Pakistan and India since 1947, since the end of the British rule in the area. They have fought wars over it. So I like to periodically mention some of the history. By the way, thanks to Free for your support. Bobby Kiefer says it goes back thousands of years. Yeah, I don't even know all the history before that. Shnuba mentions India's threats to cut off the water supply to Pakistan. Yeah, without getting into the details of that, India has said it has threatened to cut off a bunch of water to Pakistan, which is really important to Pakistan. But that's not something they've actually done yet. I've read before articles on that saying it would take India, they would have to build infrastructure to cut off a big amount of water to Pakistan. They can't just flip a switch and do it. Here's an article from May 6th, yesterday. Modi says India will retain share of water it once set outside the country. India Prime Minister Modi said on Tuesday, this is before the Indian attack, that previously was being sent outside the country would now be retained for internal use, days after New Delhi suspended a water sharing pact with Pakistan. Last month, India suspended a water sharing pact that ensured supply of 80% of Pakistani farms, the Indus Waters Treaty. But, again, my understanding is that it would take India, they can't just right away shut off a lot of the water. Yes, in this article from about a week ago in Reuters, it says government officials and experts on both sides say India cannot stop water flows immediately because the treaty has allowed it to build, because the treaty has only allowed it to build hydropower plants without significant storage or dams on the three rivers allocated to Pakistan. But things could start changing in a few months. All right. FJ posted a couple things a few minutes ago. He is someone who reports a lot about Pakistan, and I follow him. And he said, let me show you here. FJ said, air activity on both sides at the moment. That was about 15 minutes ago. But then he said some explosions heard in Pakistan in the past few minutes were likely sonic booms. So he posted about 15 minutes ago, air activity on both sides at the moment. I'm checking right now. I'm not seeing big reports of big new doings. Eric thinks this will all go away soon. It's been ongoing for 6 decades. Is Poont still being shelled? I don't know for sure. I haven't heard reporting about artillery fire in the last several hours, but I can't say for sure. I'm just checking to see if I have any updates for you. Yes, as Question Everything says, Pakistan is promising to hit back. What will it actually do? If it does indeed respond more. As Reuters says, Pakistan vows retaliation after Indian strike over tourist deaths. Big question. Johnny Banana says, I'm so scared for India. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I don't have much new to report at the moment. We've been on the air for several hours. I got to eat something anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping up this live stream. If I get off the air and something big happens in 5 minutes, I'll just do another live stream. There's nothing stopping me from doing another live stream. I can come on whenever I want. But since we've been covering this a bit, and I don't have any big updates other than what I've been talking about so far, I'm going to wrap up the stream and eat something. But I'm going to be following the news. So if there's some huge thing, I'll come back on and we'll go live again. So far this evening there, nothing huge to report to you. And the current time in India is 3:26 a.m. Okay, so I'll certainly keep an eye on all this and do more coverage as things develop. I just, at this point, I really don't have much more to say or much more to report. It's just I've been checking various sources and we've been talking a bunch about this. So if you want, you can subscribe, follow the channel Agenda Free TV. I cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. I would not be at all surprised if we're on covering this. Certainly, if there's a Pakistani response, we will cover that. And who knows what else might develop with this situation. I have no idea, but I'll certainly be following it. Also, you can turn on our notifications. I don't know when big stuff's going to happen, but if you want to get sent a notification whenever we go live, we actually set up our own notification system, which works really well through Discord. And it's easy to sign up, and you get sent a notification whenever we go live, and it's free. So the mods can post the notifications link in the chat. And you can actually find that link in the Facebook and YouTube description of this broadcast. Right in the description, there's the link for the notifications. So I would suggest signing up for the notifications and making sure notifications are on whatever platform you watch on. But I really do appreciate everybody tuning into the broadcast. And sorry I don't have a live stream to show you, a live feed to show you right now. If I get another live feedback, if I'm off the air and I see that there's another live feed up and it's showing a lot of stuff going on, I will certainly come on the air and bring that to you. So again, nothing keeping me from doing another stream. But I'm going to eat something now. But again, I appreciate you watching, and a lot of people have been sending in updates, posting, letting me read your comments and questions on the air. So thanks for helping with that as well. And one of our viewers just said missile launch confirmed in Punjab. In Punjab, I believe if you go through the chat, every 3 minutes throughout this broadcast, someone has been claiming some huge event, like some attack or missiles flying or X or Y or Z. I think the entire broadcast that's been going on in the chat. But again, I'm not hearing anything reliable right now saying there's any big new news. I will certainly keep an eye on it. But we have had people We have had people posting that stuff all day. Hang on a second here. But again, if I become aware of huge new news, I will certainly jump back on the air. And thank you, by the way, so much to our moderators. They are awesome. And, you know, we have a lot of people with different views in our chat, but the reason that we can have chats here is because our moderators are there, keeping it under control, keeping it civil and respectful. So huge thanks to our moderators for allowing us to have the chat. Ruth Krafasi, Janet B., Beth Mythical over there on YouTube, and all of our other YouTube moderators on Twitch. Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, Hearsay, LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, and Surly Dev. Thank you for moderating over there. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X, on Facebook, Kay Lowry Body, Charlotte Webb, Margaret Riley, Paul Anderson, Christina Neal. Huge thanks to all of our moderators on our different channels and all of our other moderators. Thank you. And our Discord moderators, too. Thanks so much. I don't think I hydrated enough this stream. I have to remind myself. Our viewer, Anand, says India is not scared of anything. Big thing to look for right now is, does Pakistan launch some response, and what is it, and how would India respond to that? That is really the big question right now. To me. Hey, thanks to everybody who donated to the channel. That is super nice of you guys. That's what allows me to do the channel and have this be a full-time news channel. So I really, really appreciate that. Sino, I owe a thank you to Sino. I owe a thank you to Donna Smith for the gift memberships. Paul Tissue, thank you so much, Paul Tissue. And also Malmo Chagras, our new member, thank you. But that's really kind of you guys, and it's what allows the channel to exist. Distant Galaxy 13, thanks so much for your support on Twitch. Annie Cush as well. Kiwi Powelson, thanks for subscribing from Germany. And if you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But thanks so much for supporting the channel. Also, let's see here. I want to shout out... Oh, thanks, Skip McNeil, for your support on Patreon. That's very nice of you, Skip McNeil. Hey, I will post updates also. When I'm not on the air, I will post updates on my X account, which is @Lookner on X. You can follow me over there. I will post a link to it in the chat. @Lookner on X is my X account. So follow me there. @LOOKNER. You can follow me there for breaking news updates. And also, if you want, if you're on X, follow Agenda Free TV, because I always post there when we're going live. I post some updates about the channel there too. So @Agenda Free TV. You can follow that too. And I would recommend, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, I would suggest turning the YouTube notifications on, because that can help let you know when we're live. But it's a little weird to turn the YouTube notifications on, how you do that. So on YouTube, if you want to have the YouTube notifications on, you got to subscribe to the channel. Then you got to click this bell. You got to activate the bell and choose all notifications. So if you are subscribed on YouTube, make sure you have the bell checked and you've chosen all. And by the way, quick shout out also, I appreciate his updates. FJ, who I mentioned a few times. One of the accounts I follow for stuff in the region is FJ. FJ also very nicely posted the link to the broadcast. But I have mentioned FJ's posts a couple times. If you want to follow FJ on X, you can go to @NatSecJeff, NatSecJeff. So I appreciate his reporting. And also, again, if you're looking for an account to follow that's regularly posting updates on this conflict, he is doing it. Yeah, we did show the black smoke at the start of the broadcast. We showed live the black smoke showing that there was no pope yet, that they had held a vote in the conclave in Vatican City, but no pope chosen yet. We may do coverage of upcoming votes. I believe the next votes would be happening where I am in the U.S., like around 4:30 a.m. U.S. time or something. It's possible we'll do a stream for that. I don't know. We'll have to see how that all plays out. I'd like to be on the air when the new pope is named, but we'll see how it goes with this stuff as well. Hey, huge thanks to our Facebook subscribers who support the channel by subscribing on Facebook. People like Robert Rial II, Susan Priest Buchner, and thanks, Susan, for the Facebook stars. That's really nice of you, Susan. Thank you. Margaret Riley and Kayla Aribadi, thanks for subscribing. Rita Evans Lang, Sharon Klassen Goslin. Did I say Robert Rial II? Lou Green. All of our other Facebook subscribers, thanks so much for supporting the channel by subscribing on Facebook. And huge thanks to our Twitch subscribers like Wall Street and Shaggy, Aaron Weirdo, Annie Cush, and Matthew Kohai 3, and Artful Nothing, all of our other subscribers over there. Thank you so much for subscribing on Twitch. And our YouTube members, like Just Me, Rick Baker, Eric Johnson, Pops1, JK Cinar Sevenfold, CAC813. By the way, also a special shout out. We've had some viewers watching from India and Pakistan, some of them writing in about what they're hearing about and seeing locally. So special shout out to them. I hope this thing can de-escalate soon. I hope it does not escalate. Thanks also to some of our other YouTube members like Scottish Lass, Jose Gonzalez, Scottish Lass, Raven Knight, JK Cinar, Yes Sir Bud, is it? Hold on a second here. I think it was Yes Sir Bud. CIA Contact, Malmo, Chagras, Just Me, HPM, Joe Hart, and Tallulah A. Bell, Miss Kitty, thanks for being members. Lady Hawk, Leslie Lady Hawk, Donna Smith, Music Muse, Callie Raven, Jerry Kovacs, Marnie, Chris N. Warboy, Molly Morgan, Green Giant, UV Lightning, everybody else watching as well. I really appreciate you being here. Rian Goswami, Mr. Rivas, and others. Oh, thank you, Yes Sir Bud, for the gift membership. That's really nice of you. Thank you, Yes Sir Bud. All right, so again, if and when there is some huge update, I will just come back on the air. Thanks Billy Joe Drage for watching, by the way. Kevin Grove, Stuart Walkup, Melissa Terry, and our other Facebook viewers. So again, if I get off the air and something happens in 5 minutes, I'll just come on back on the air. So I will be paying attention to the developments, and just as happened yesterday, if there's some huge new news, I will come on the air and cover it live. All right? So we'll have to see what happens. Pakistan could launch retaliation in 5 minutes. They could launch it in 5 days. Maybe there'll be no other Pakistani retaliation. We don't know for sure. All right, that is it for now. And what is this? Hold on. I was going to wrap it up for now. One of our viewers said there was a press conference. I don't have video of a press conference. There is one going on right now. I don't have video of it. I'm looking at AFP and Reuters. Anyways, I am going to wrap this up for right now. But again, when big news happens, we will do more coverage. All right. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon with more live coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.